Hi, it's immigration lawyer Elaine Martin, and just before I get started on the January 2020 visa bulletin, I just want to ask people, if you're interested in this topic or any other immigration subject, to please click on the subscribe button below to get notified of future videos, and leave me a comment if there's anything you'd like to see covered in the future. Well, the January 2020 visa bulletin has just come out, and the first thing I will point out is that in the dates for filing, you use the dates for filing chart for everything except family 2A, that is spouses and children of permanent residents. In that situation, you can go by the final action date chart. Everything else, employment and family, is on the dates for filing chart. I will explain both of those, the final action and the dates for filing, just a little bit later. The main news is that there isn't any big news on this chart. India, employment based. I know you guys must be getting incredibly frustrated because it is so oversubscribed, it has barely moved. India, first preference, has stayed at January 1st, 2015 for more than 6 months. Third preference is the same as last month. And second preference, yet again, limps forward by just a couple of days. Anything else in employment based, mostly moving forward just by a couple of weeks. A little bit more for Mexico, Philippines, Vietnam, first preference. I'm going to explain this in more detail. Family-based categories get no major movement forward, couple of weeks or months in most cases. Next, I'm going to compare last month, December 2019 and January 2020 visa bulletins, both final action date and filing date, now that we know that the filing date is relevant. In the family, final action date for first preference, that is unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens, Philippines is forward by 2.5 months. Mexico is the same as last month, and all other countries, including India and China, move forward by 2 months. F2A, spouses and children of permanent residents, is current across the board. The F2B, which is unmarried sons and daughters of permanent residents, has stayed the same for everybody except the Philippines, which is forward by 2 months. Third preference, F3, which is married sons and daughters of US citizens, has moved forward by 1 week for every category other than the Philippines, which is forward by 4 months. And fourth preference, brothers and sisters of US citizens, that is the same for China and for the rest of the world category. India forward by 1 week, Mexico by 3 weeks, and the Philippines by 2.5 months. This chart shows the dates for filing. If you are family 2A, spouses and children of US citizen, you can file your adjustment of status, if not done already, even though your priority date may be backlogged. All other categories have to look at the chart below to see whether they can file adjustment of status, if they are in the US, of course, even though your priority date may not be available. For employment-based final action, that means whether a case can actually be approved, the China first preference is forward by 1 week. Mexico, Philippines, Vietnam forward by 2.5 months. India, the same, January 1st, 2015, which hasn't changed for over 6 months. And all other countries forward by 2.5 weeks. Second preference, all other countries, is current across the board until we get down to religious workers. Second preference, China, forward by 1 week. India, again, a whopping 3 days. and current for other countries. Third preference, China forward by 1 month. India, again, no change from last month. Philippines forward by 2 weeks. All other countries current, including Mexico and Vietnam. Fourth preference is current other than Mexico for August 8, 2017. And fifth preference current other than China, India and Vietnam. And certain fifth preference regional center is unavailable. These are the filing dates for employment-based cases. A lot of categories are current, unless of course you're from China or India, in which case you cannot file. You can still file the adjustment of status in many cases a few years before the final action date or before the priority date is current, but you could still have quite a long wait. For example, China's second preference is August 1st, 2016. India's second preference is even far worse. It's 10.5 years backlogged now. But for everybody else, have a look at this chart, and if your adjustment of status has not already been filed and your priority date is on or before the dates shown on this chart, you can file the adjustment of status under most circumstances if you are in the US and if you have the I-140 pending or already approved. If you think this video has helped you, please click on the like button, please subscribe for new videos, and please share with your friends. Thanks.